Hello and welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint Show. I am your host, Jay Jones. Black Entrepreneur Blueprint was created specifically to educate and inspire Black entrepreneurs to launch, build, and grow successful businesses. Join us as we help build an economic power base in the Black community by promoting business ownership. If you are currently an entrepreneur or want to be an entrepreneur, we invite you to join us every week here at Black Entrepreneur Blueprint.
Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, episode number 280. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and today we have another outstanding show in store for you. Today's show is a little bit different and a little special, BEB family. I'm actually recording the show live in one of my offices, so if you want to watch me do the show on video, please make sure you go to my YouTube channel, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, and click episode number 280. Now, today's show is titled 11 Questions with Jay Jones. Now, over the course of years, I've gotten thousands of questions from the BEB family, but what I've done is I've picked 11 interesting questions and some of the most common questions that I get from the BEB family, and hopefully some of these answers can be answers to questions that you may have had. So that's what we're going to do today, 11 questions with Jay Jones. Now, before we get into today's episode, I just want to share a few things with the BEB family. First and foremost, I want to welcome all first-time listeners to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Welcome to the BEB family, and please stick around until the end of today's broadcast, and I'm going to share all of my resources and my contact information so you can connect with me via social media. Now, before I do get to that, though, I do want to make an announcement. Black Friday is coming up on the 29th. So if you have ever been interested in taking my Educated E-commerce flagship course to help you build a successful e-commerce business, I do have a promo. And if you go to educatedecommerce.com and you type in the promotional code BEB Black Friday, that'll save you $800 off of the $997 list price. So go to educatedecommerce.com. Type in the code when you register, BEB Black Friday, and it'll take $800 off of the price for $197 value on the course. Now, it's only good for the first 10 people, and the offer expires on midnight of the 29th of Black Friday. So let's get to today's show, family. 11 questions with Jay Jones. And I'm not cheating here, but these are where the questions are on my phone. Question number 1. And I get this a lot from Ernie. Ernie asks, what business should I start? And when I get this question, I chuckle to myself because there are a lot of things that go into starting a business. What are you interested in? How much capital do you have? How much time do you want to allot to your business? Is it part-time? Is it full-time? And so the first thing I tell people to do is I said, what are your passions and what are your talents? And once again, that goes back to pinpoint and monetize your genius. So your genius is the intersection of your passion and your talent. So to me, the highest form of entrepreneurship, family, is being able to monetize what you naturally have inside of you, your passion and your talent. And so that's what I tell people to start with. What are you passionate about and what are you talented in? Now, if you have proficiency in a certain area, say you work in graphic design for a company, then it's probably pretty easy for you to start your own graphic design firm. So you want to start to look from within first. Okay, a lot of times people look at business opportunities and different things, and they're going outside of their comfort zone or their natural zone of genius. So once again, internally. So when people ask me that question, what business should I start? I really don't know. But what I can do is I can help you get to the point where you can make a great determination on what type of business to start. So Ernie, I hope that helps you out, and I hope it helps the rest of the BEB family out. I can only give you suggestions based on where you are. Okay. Question number 2 from Bobby D. How do I transition from employee to entrepreneur? Once again, that is another quote unquote trick question because I don't know what your situation is. If you have money stored away to start your business, what your financial situation is, what's your monthly nut and all that good stuff. So it's a tricky question. But if you're an employee and you're trying to transition to entrepreneurship, I would do it slowly. OK, I'm never going to tell you, hey, go quit your job. Tell your boss, hey, I'm out. The next day. Don't do that. Be strategic about it. Now, especially if you have a family, make sure you consult with your wife, husband, or partner or whatever, and understand that when you start out on that journey, it's going to be bumps and bruises on the road, and you're going to have to be able to maneuver those. Now, what I will tell you to do is if you want to start off slowly, I'm going to give you an example, a personal example. When I started one of my first businesses, and it was an alarm company, I was a dealer for ADT. And what I did was I wrote down a list of everything that I needed, in terms of the computers, the office space, software, everything I needed. And I wrote it down. And every time while I was working in corporate America, I got a paycheck. I would go buy whatever I needed to buy. I would buy a couple of desks with this paycheck. I buy computers with the next paycheck. I buy my software with the other paycheck. I would buy the following paycheck. I would buy the equipment for the alarms, the alarm equipment itself. And so after several months in my basement, I had everything to open up a full running and functional office. And so what I did was then I signed a lease at the my office building. And that weekend, my dad and I, we put everything in there. Over that weekend, I'm screwing stuff together, putting the desks up, getting the whole office ready. And that Monday morning, I was ready for business. The only thing I needed to do then was to actually hire people. And what I even did with that was before the office opened, I put out help wanted ads, and I was able to get people who were interested in my business. Some alarm salespeople, telemarketers, installers, customer service people. So when I came in, I was ready to go. So I think one of the biggest issues is that a lot of people, they figure they're going to transition from employee to entrepreneur, but they don't have everything set up. So it's a smoother and easier transition when you make sure you have everything you need to start the business before you actually start the business. So I believe that was Ernie. I hope that helped, brother. Let me check and make sure. No, I'm sorry. That's Bobby D. So Bobby D and everybody else that's looking to transition, I hope that helped. Question number 3 in today's show topic, family, is 11 questions with Jay Jones. And the reason I picked number 11 is that's my favorite number, and that was my number when I played ball. All right. Lauren asked, how did you start your business? Oh, God. Lauren, how much time do you have? I need a drink of water before that. Hold on. Well, Lauren, I've started 17, 18. I don't even remember. It's probably over 20 plus businesses now. My first business was when I was a kid. And I guess you would call this, it is a business because I was making money in commerce, transaction of products or services. And I would take a big bag of potato chips. And this is during the spring and summertime. Grew up in Philadelphia, in Germantown section of Philadelphia. And we're out, all the young kids running around playing outside. We used to do that back then. A lot of kids don't do that now. We're running around. And so we used to have a corner store like a block over, go down to the corner, bang a right, and over the next block, there was a corner store. So instead of everybody having to go to the store, what I would do would be I would buy a big bag of potato chips and I would break those bags down into the little sandwich bags. And then I would make Kool-Aid and I'd have cups of Kool-Aid. So it just so happened that my house was almost like the center of attention because my neighbors, they had 3 kids over here and we had kids over here. We had about 15, 20 kids on our block around my age. And so what I do was once we kind of settled down a little bit, I bring the bags out of chips and the Kool-Aid and I start charging money. And I make enough money to go and re-up and buy another bag. So I'm making $8, $9 when I'm about 8 years old off of these broken down bags of chips. And that was actually my first foray into entrepreneurship. So, I mean, obviously it was just a little hustle right there. But basically, Lauren, when I started my first business, it came from, number one, understanding what I wanted out of life. And so when I went to corporate America, and I always had hustles, side hustles while I was in corporate America, but actually stepping out on my own. When I went to corporate America and I understood that this was not what I wanted to do after about 5 years in corporate, then that gave me the impetus to step out on my own. And what I did was I did some research. You always want to do research. What I did not do is I didn't test. So for those of you who don't know what my first business was, and I hope I don't offend anybody, my first quote unquote real business out of college and after the workforce, not my side hustles, but real business where I left, was a company called Jones Brothers Incorporated. My best friend from college, his last name happened to be Jones, and we're like brothers, so we were Jones Brothers Incorporated. And our first product was called Zulu condoms. Yeah, that's right. I've talked about it on the show before. The condom design with the black man in mind, but the moniker was respect and protect. So on the back of the package, we had statistical data showing the repercussions of unsafe sex in the black community. Now, this was out like in 92 when AIDS was big and stuff like that. And so we needed to create an educational component to the product. Yeah, the product was hype. We're in magazines like Source magazines, Essence, Ebony, all types of newspaper articles, radio interviews, and things like that. And we wanted to make the content because we understood what some of the problems or issues were in our community. Okay, we had, teen pregnancy, we had STDs, AIDS had just really come out strong then, unmarried, people having kids that maybe didn't want to have them, whatever. So we knew in order to help, we had to grab attention first and then be able to educate. So we did a lot of social stuff in terms of going to schools. We had educational pamphlets and components, and we were sold, in 7-Elevens, Rite Aids, Pathmark, supermarkets, all types of places. So that was my first foray into business. And the way it came about was my business partner, we were at Merrill Lynch at the time as financial consultants, or what they call now, they call financial consultants now. We called the stockbrokers back then. So what happened was my business partner was on the plane. He had one of the Dallas Cowboys was one of his clients. And he was looking through a magazine and he saw something about this condom company called Patriot Condoms. And what it was this young white dude that started this condom company. And instead of having condoms and stuff on the box had a American flag on it. So it was inconspicuous. And his thought concept was, so when you go up to buy condoms from the supermarket or whatever, or the store, nobody has to really know what it is. And so that night, after he touched down in Dallas, he called me up. Yo, Jay, man, I just saw this, man. That's something that we should look at for the black community. And I'm like, man, get out of here. I'm not selling condoms, right? And so that night I went to sleep, and it was almost like a bolt of lightning hit me. I tell you, about 3 a.m, I jumped up and I was like, damn, Zulu condoms, the condom design with the black man in mind. So I called my boy up at the hotel. Yo, I woke his ass up. Yo, you got something here. And that's where the concept started. And so it actually came from my buddy seeing an opportunity in the market to solve a need. We needed to focus on, they're Trojans, they're lifestyles, there's all types of condoms out there, but there was nothing that was manufactured by black folk for black folks. So our logo and everything was hype. We had nice hats. We had a zipper in the side of the hat. You could put the condom in. I wish I had it right in front of me now. I have some, but this was on the humbug, so I didn't even have any with me right now. But next time I actually put them on my website and I'll show you guys. But that was my first real foray into business, and it actually did well. And I tell you guys now, if the internet was around back then, y'all probably wouldn't even be talking to me, because I'd probably be on an island in the South Pacific laying on a hammock right now or something. But that's how I started my first business, Lauren. And I didn't really know a lot about starting a real business, so we learned a lot along the way. And one of the biggest things is, guys, you're not going to know everything when you start until you get in there and start mixing around. So that was question number 3. How did you start your business? Okay. Question number 4 from Shakir. Shakir asks, do I need to incorporate my business? That's a great question. If you're serious about doing business, yes. And there's several reasons, but let me take it back. When you're trying to start a business, the first thing you want to do is you want to test. And I'm a big proponent of testing. It's like being in the laboratory. So you want to test to see if you have proof of concept, right? Now, if you know that you're going to start a business, by all means, go ahead and form an LLC, right? Which is a limited liability corporation, which has passed through income and losses. And it's easier than forming a C Corp or an S Corp or a subchapter S Corp. And we're not going to get into all of that right now, but LLCs are probably the best for small businesses. Now, that's what I would recommend. So if you're really serious about starting a business, because you want to separate your personal from your business, okay, you don't want to commingle that. Also, in terms of liability. So say you had a product like Zulu condoms, for example, that was incorporated under Jones Brothers Incorporation. So if anything happened, any liability, we had liability insurance, we had product insurance. They couldn't come after me, Jay Jones. They would come after the company. Now, I do want to give you a fair warning. All right. So even if you have a corporation, an LLC or whatever, and you commingle assets from your personal into your business, if you get sued, a good attorney can actually come after you personally, even though you do have a corporation. And it's called piercing the corporate veil. That means you've commingled and you've mixed assets. So you're getting a paycheck over here and you're getting monies from your business over here, and you're paying personal bills out of your corporate account, and you're doing all of that stuff. Now, it's not that you can't transfer money, but you have to be very careful and strategic on what you do and what you spend it for. Because if a good attorney can prove that they've pierced the corporate veil, meaning, hey, he has a company, but he's not acting like it, so they can actually come after you personally. So yes, I would definitely form an LLC or the type of incorporation that you need, Shakir. So that was question number 4. Question number 5 from Dewana. What do you think is easier in entrepreneurship today than it was when you started? Man, you're going way back, Dewana. Great question. Right now, today, this is 2019 going into 2020. It is so much easier to start and build a business today than it was when I started in the early 90s. We didn't have social media. In order for me to show you this video, I'd have to hire a videographer back in the day, and I'd have to direct you to a TV show or whatever, or I'd have to send you out a DVD. Y'all remember those, right? So you could watch this. I'm sitting here in one of my offices. I got my iPhone on up here, and I'm sitting here recording to you. So I'm giving you a direct message. And so younger folk, what you need to understand is the time that we're living in, it is amazing for entrepreneurship. And the question that Dewana asked is, what do you think is easier today than back when I started? It's being able to connect. It's being able to build your list. So perfect example with my condom company. We had radio stations like The Box in Houston, some local stations in Philly, WHAT. We would do promos on, right? So we were giving away like 100 condoms to the first 100 callers. So people would call in. We were on the radio station doing an interview, and then they would call in. We give them the number, and man, our phone was ringing off the hook. We had like 4 lines, but they all were busy. And the way we had to fill orders was we had to take the messages, write down the names, the addresses, and all of that stuff, and then ship the condoms out. Today, it's very simple with a website. And I'm telling you, the technology today, and I say this all the time, family, if you're not selling something online today, something is wrong. E-commerce is over 50% of all the sales in the United States. And I know, this show is downloaded in hundreds of countries across the world. But in the United States, e-commerce is ridiculous. And it's just going to continue to grow. So if you're not in the game, and I joke around, hey, I don't care if you're selling number 2 pencils and paper clips online. You need to be selling something online. The easier thing is now, guys, is being able to connect. It's being able to share your story. It's being able to build your list. I did an episode a few episodes back called the $1 Million List. All right. And in order to be successful, you need to be able to build lists. I don't care what product or service you have or whatever. If you don't have a list to sell to, then you're going to be sitting there scratching your head wondering, what's up? Why aren't I making sales? And the ability to build a list with landing pages, the social media, to being able to contact people, to give people or give your product or service exposure. Man, I wish I was, like I said, if this all was happening to me back when I was starting out, y'all wouldn't even see me right now. I'd be like I said, in the South Pacific on a hammock. So that was question 5. What do you think is easier in entrepreneurship today than it was when you started? And that was Dewana. Great question, Dewana. Question number 6 from Tony. If you had to start all over from scratch, what business would you start? Great question, Tony. And once again, knowing the technology and everything that's going on, I would start an e-commerce business. Now, e-commerce is not a business type. It's a way you deliver your products and services. Instead of selling face to face and shaking hands, you're selling through, e-commerce, through the internet. So that means that's just the delivery method. So I can still sell products and services through e-commerce, but that's the delivery method I would use. So I could be sitting here talking to you from Philadelphia, and you can see this all over the world, and I can have a product offer right in this video. Okay. So e-commerce. Now, the second question that usually comes after that is, what type of e-commerce product or service would you sell? Now, if you've listened to this show for any period of time, you know there are only 6 things you can sell. All right. 6 different verticals: your physical products, your digital products, and your services, somebody else's physical products, somebody else's digital products, and somebody else's services. So once again, you need to hone that down, and I always go back to pinpoint and monetize your genius. If you haven't listened to that episode number 199, and your genius, once again, is the intersection between your passion and your talent. And the reason I tell people to start businesses based on their genius is because if it gets hard, which most business does, entrepreneurship does, it's something that you're passionate about. So you're going to continue to move forward. Okay. Now, if you're talented in an area, it's going to probably make it a little easier for you to be successful. So e-commerce, and what I would do, and this is a message to every entrepreneur out there: problem, solution, and the result. What's the problem? The solution is whatever your product or service is. And the result is what happens when they use Jay's product. That's a very simple formula for success in terms of entrepreneurship. Find a problem, you got a solution, and tell the customer what the solution means. Perfect example is this. My feet hurt when I run. Okay, that's the problem. The solution is Jay Jones' world famous insoles. Okay, and the result is now you can run your marathon without your feet hurting. Problem, solution, result. Okay, so I don't care if it's e-commerce or hand-to-hand combat in terms of selling brick and mortar or whatever. The question was, if you had to start all over from scratch, what business would you start? It would be an e-commerce delivery platform, and I would solve a problem. That's it. It's pretty simple. So that was Tony with question number 6. Let's go to question 7. From Aaron. What are some of the best ways to exponentially grow your business? Aaron, great question. There's tons of ways to grow your business exponentially. You can do paid traffic. You can do social media. One of the things that I'm going to start doing in 2020 more so is called collaboration. Okay. So you want to collaborate with people that are at your level or above. All right. And we'll talk about that in a second. But collaboration, what is something that's mutually beneficial for your audience and somebody else's audience? So you see a lot of these entrepreneur podcasts all the time, and you'll see the same guests rotate on the same, I'm not even going to call the names out, but the same guests rotate on the same 3, 4, or 5 podcasts. Okay. So they're sharing their network. I had a nice conversation with one of my good brothers yesterday, and we were just talking about collaborating. And he talked about it, and it was something that I was thinking about all along. So we're going to do some collaboration. He has a network, a platform. I have a platform. Okay. The message I have is good for his platform. The message he has is good for my platform. So we're going to collaborate and combine platforms. So he'll get some of my platform. He'll be exposed to some of my, my platform, and I'll be exposed to his platform. And whoever gravitates, that means we can grow both of our platforms. Okay. Now, here's what I will tell you when you talk about collaboration. It needs to be an even exchange. So if I have a platform of 200,000 monthly listeners to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, and somebody else has 5 Facebook friends and they don't have any other platform, that's not a collaboration. That's me helping you. And I don't mind doing that. But in order to exponentially grow your business, such as the question was, then I would say collaboration with people on or near your level. Because if not, you're helping somebody or somebody's helping you, and that's fine if that's what they want. But you always want to come to the table with leverage. Okay. So if I had just started this podcast and this was my first episode and I got 8 people watching my episode. Matter of fact, I'll give you the real number. My first podcast in the first month, 173 people listened to it. And probably most of them were family and friends. Okay. So if I came out after my first podcast episode and I wanted to do a collaboration with E.T., Eric Thomas, who has, millions of followers, he'd look at me and be like, what's up, man? Who are you and what are you doing? All right. But we were able to collaborate with E.T. and we're going to be doing some more stuff, hopefully in the future, where he saw that I had a platform. His people reached out to me. So that's a collaboration, sharing my network with E.T. and E.T. sharing, his network with me. And so that's what can exponentially grow your business. It's a mutually beneficial, synergistic relationship that can take you from here to here. So in 2020, I'm looking to do a lot more collaborations. All right. So if you have a platform that makes sense, that can collaborate with my platform, reach out to me and I'll give you all my contact information at the end of today's episode. All right. And that was number 7. Aaron, what are some of the best ways to exponentially grow your business? All right. Number 8 from Vanessa. What industry do you see where there's unlimited opportunity? What industry do you see where there's unlimited opportunity? Great question. Multiple industries. If I had to, off the top of my head, and this is pretty funny because I wrote the questions down, but I didn't have answers before I got on the show. But that's one of my superpowers. So when it comes to entrepreneurship, my Q&As are always one of the best things. If you ever come to hear me speak, my Q&As are usually one of the best things because my experience in the game and having experience with a lot of different types of business and just being a veteran in the game. So the question was from Vanessa, what industry do you see where there's unlimited opportunity? Off the top of my head, the cannabis industry, which is big. Everybody and their grandmom got gummies coming out or some type of CBD products. I always talk about when you're looking for opportunities in industries, the deeper you can go with a vertical, the better off you're going to be. So instead of just retailing the gummies, is there a way that you can manufacture the gummies? Is there a way you can distribute the gummies? So the cannabis industry is wide open. Now, it takes a lot of money if you want to be a grower, obviously, if you want to have a dispensary, a lot of legal stuff, and it's done on purpose to kind of keep us out, just the licensing for that. But in that industry, there's products, accessories like hydroponic lamps for people who want to grow their own stuff. There's other type accessories that you can make money on. All right. I know a couple of the BEB family members I've talked to that have become friends have a website in that space. And I believe what their site does, it gives people if you're looking for a dispensary or some stuff like that, it gives them a location. So it's almost like a location finder for the cannabis industry. So that's a big industry, and you can always look at the ancillary products around an industry as opposed to actually diving in that industry. Another big industry is the learning, the e-learning courses and things like that. And I tell people I'm actually going to be doing a course on building courses soon, because if you know how to do something and you can shorten the learning curve for somebody, people will pay for that. People will pay for that. Hey, I need to learn how to do XYZ. Okay, I've done it. I know how to do it. Let me show you how. So Udemy, for example, udemy.com is a huge platform for people who want to buy courses. Okay, so it's tons of courses out there. So I would look at, if I had to say off the top of my head, I'd say the cannabis industry and the education or the learning industry. Once again, delivery mechanism, if you can deliver through e-commerce, that would probably be recommended as opposed to starting a brick and mortar. So that was Vanessa. What industry do you see where there's unlimited opportunity? I just want to say this also. Opportunity is where you make it. It's how you position your product or your service or whatever. So don't just say, hey, I'm going to go try to find an industry that is brand new. Okay. A lot of times super new industries don't have proof of concept. So if you go into an industry that's, people have been in for a while, that's great. And the difference between a successful business and an unsuccessful business is basically positioning and how you position your product, your service, or yourself. So it doesn't matter what industry is in. You can break in and be successful in any industry that you want if you position yourself correctly. And you also remember the formula: problem, solution, result. And what that does, that formula does, guys, is it basically takes you personally out of the equation. So if there's a problem, well, and I'll use the example of my insoles, the J. Jones insoles. Somebody who's a runner, who runs marathons or whatever, they don't care who J. Jones is. They don't care what my background is. Can I solve that problem? Have I positioned my product to be the solution? Problem, solution, result. Don't worry about the industry. Research the problem, not the product. Do you understand that? Research the problem, not the product. And that's where the money is, guys. Solving problems. All right. So I hope that answered the question to Vanessa. Yeah, that was Vanessa. Yep. All right. Question number 9. Kim asked, what is a good business to start if I don't have a lot of money? That's a great question. Give me 1 second. All right. Off the top of my head, a consulting type of business or a service-based business. So say, for example, Kim, if you're good at social media, creating posts, and you have a solid social media following yourself, you can start a service by offering it free to somebody. Hey, let me show you what I can do for you via social media. I can increase your likes. I can get you more followers. Ba-ba, ba-ba, ba-ba. All right. That doesn't cost you a lot of money. You're providing a service. OK, now, once you do that 30-day trial run and people see what you like, guess what? Now, if you want me to continue to do this, Bob, it's going to cost you X amount of dollars. So think about a service that you can provide that you already know how to do. OK, and so what you want to talk about is businesses you can start with very limited income or limited funds. E-commerce is another business or business model. So buy something low, sell it high. All right. Now, you can even start, and I'm going to have my brother-in-law on here one day because he does Amazon arbitrage. So you can go out and buy a product for $5 on sale at Walmart that may retail for $20. You make $15. It's not a lot of money, but you continue to do that and multiply. So you have retail arbitrage. You have providing a service. So anything that doesn't cost a lot of money, either you're going to be spending time or money or both. So if you're doing retail arbitrage, that's spending time finding those products and it's spending money to buy the products. OK, if you're providing a service, it's the time that it costs to provide that service. So I would look at service-based businesses and low-cost e-commerce businesses. And I'm going to give you a real-life example. And I mentioned this on one of the shows. One of my coaching students wanted to start an e-commerce business, didn't have money. So what he and his wife did over a period, I think it was like 2 months, 45 to 60 days, they went and they cleaned out their house and they put everything that they had that they didn't want up on sale on eBay. The reason they put it on eBay was a lot of it was used, obviously. Now, stuff, and I wanted to tell you guys, if you're into e-commerce, it's better to sell used stuff on eBay. Amazon has a different type buyer, okay? Not that they don't buy used stuff, but it's a different demographic of buyer versus eBay. So, and they made a couple of $1,000s from over those 45 to 60 days. And they went and they actually then used that capital to start an e-commerce business. And they started out virtually with nothing. Okay. He barely could afford my educated e-commerce course. Okay. And now he's making 6 figures a year from his e-commerce business. And he started out very slow. I've known other people to start e-commerce businesses as little as $300 to $400. And once again, it's about parlaying. It's about flipping. Like if you ever hear Damon Dash talk about flipping, you buy it, you flip it, then you buy some more, you flip it again and again. And that's really what it is. So a lot of people have the misconception that you got to start out big. That's not true. Start out small, and then you can start flipping your way to success. That $5 becomes 10, that 10 becomes 20, that 20 becomes 40, that 40 becomes 80, that 80 becomes 160. Keep flipping. So e-commerce and providing a service, I think, are good low cost businesses to get into. All right, that was question number 9. All right, let me go to question number 10. That was Kim. That was what's a good business to start if you don't have a lot of money. Question number 10. How do I know how to price my cupcakes that will make them sell but still make a profit? And I forgot to write down. I think that was Tina. I didn't write that down. How do I know how to price my cupcakes and what will make them sell but still make a profit? All right. So you're talking about pricing, but most importantly, you're talking about positioning. And like I said, I believe that's Tina. So once again, expectations make or break a relationship and they make or break a product sale. What do you expect from this product? So if I buy a $10 watch, right? What do I expect from the watch? If I get 6 months out of the watch and it breaks, guess what? That was my expectation level. But if I spend $3,000 on a watch and it breaks in 6 months, I'm mad. I'm like, my expectations weren't met. And that's the same thing when it comes to cupcakes or whatever product or service that you're selling. How do you position your product? Do you position your product as a high-end product, a mid-level product, or a low-end product? How do you position it? Because the way you position it sets the expectation level. So if you position this flat iron, like one of my flat irons is a high-end flat iron. So people have an expectation that it's going to be a high-end result. That's why I give a lifetime warranty on the product. So it's not necessarily the product or the service. It's the positioning of the product or service which can demand or makes the difference on what you can charge for. Think about this. You've gone to some of these, they're not around as much anymore, these cupcake stores. You go to the store, you buy a $5 cupcake when you can go to the supermarket and buy the mix and the frosting and make 12 cupcakes for $5. But you go buy the cupcakes for $5. So your expectation is that's a damn good cupcake. It better be. If not, I'm not coming back, right? Same thing with coffee. I don't drink coffee, but you go to Starbucks. You spend $5, $6 on a latte or whatever you want to call it. Your expectation is this thing better be good, right? So it's all about positioning your product to make it match the expectation level. So what happens when you get bad publicity or bad feedback is when the expectation level is not met. If you exceed it, that's even better. But if you go under the expectation level, that's it. And so what you have to look at in this example with the cupcakes, how have you positioned your cupcakes? What other or prices have people with the same positioning, what are they selling their cupcake for? Okay. So if it's $5 a cupcake and you figure, hey, I'm on this level, you have to position your cupcake to be on that level. And here's a key word of advice. Never try to be the lowest, all right? Because what's going to happen, unless you Walmart, you're going to go out of business. It's a race to the bottom. So you need to understand the power of positioning and the power of expectations. So I hope that answers your question. I believe that was Tina. And yep. That was question number 10. How do I know what price or how to price my cupcakes that will make them sell but still be profitable? And it's positioning your product and making sure it's aligned with the expectation. Question number 11. And this is from T Live. I'm sorry. T Live, what's up? T Live asks, what is some of the best advice you received and who gave it to you? And I assume they're talking about entrepreneurship. Excuse me. T Live asks, what's some of the best advice you received and who gave it to you? Now, my dad gave me this advice years ago, and my dad and I had a crazy relationship. I lost him in 2006, but there was a period of about 18 to 20 years. My dad, he was going through something, obviously, but we didn't really speak. My brother, my sister, and I, my parents got divorced when I was 7. And so there was a period of time my dad must have been trying to figure out, he had a midlife crisis. So that period of time, my brother, sister, and I really didn't have a whole lot of contact with my dad. But once we reconnected, which was a good thing, was later on in life. But something he told me when I was little, I was about 7 or 8 years old. And we were talking about sports. And I was like, man, I forgot what player it was. It was a basketball player. It was a college basketball player. And I was like, man, that guy is good. And I was like, Dad, this guy, they seem like they always win. And he said, that's what they do, son. He said, winners win. And it's 2 words, winners win. Right? And I said, yeah, what do you mean? And he said, winners will find a way to go over, under, around, through to get to the desired outcome, which is winning. So it sounds very simple, but it's a truism. Winners win. They find a way to win. All right. Take Muhammad Ali, been through a lot of adversity. He didn't win all his fights, especially toward the end when, was past his prime. But he found a way to fight through adversity. Everything around it, a focus, and that's what I think a lot of us are missing now as entrepreneurs is a true focus, a true want to in your heart, in your soul, in your spirit that you want to be successful. So he told me winners win. And my dad told me a lot of good things, but that always stuck out to me because what he said is you will find a way if that's truly what you want to do. So when I talk to entrepreneurs and, oh man, I got a full-time job, a family. Yeah, a lot of other people do too. How bad do you want it? Are you a winner or do you just talk about winning? Winners win and they do what's necessary to be successful. And it's all about working smart, right? I hear people like some of these, motivational speak. Oh, I'm going to outwork you. You can't work more hours than me. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not calling no names. And I'm like, that's cool. You definitely have to work hard. But working 24 hours isn't smart. First of all, it's physically impossible, all right? Because you can't even keep up your performance level if you don't get the proper rest, nutrition, and exercise. You can't keep that up. So, yeah, everybody that's serious is going to work hard. But the question is, are you going to work smart? Are you going to leverage your assets? You know what I mean? And that's what it's talking about. But winners find a way to win. And that was the best advice my dad gave me. And that's for life. And that's also for entrepreneurship. Now, I'm going to come back in a minute. But before I forget, let me give you guys my contact information. First and foremost, once again, if this is your first time listening to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, welcome to the BEB family. Some of the resources and things that I have, the way you can connect with me. My new book is out. It's called A New Black Wall Street, Circulating the Black Dollar Worldwide by Building Successful E-Commerce Businesses. just go to anewblackwallstreet.com, pick yourself up a copy. The digital version, for both good for Kindle and any other player, is $9.95, and I recommend you get that one right now because it's updated and it has a fast start guide and bonus chapters. Okay. Educated e-commerce, I mentioned that, my online flagship course. Excuse me. So if you want to build a successful, sustainable e-commerce business, educatedecommerce.com. Now, once again, I have a Black Friday promo. It's good until Friday at midnight, the 29th of November. And it's you go to educatedecommerce.com and the promo code is BEB, like Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, BEB Black Friday. The normal price is $9.97 for the flagship course. It takes off $800, so it'll only be $197 investment, and that's good for the first 10 people. Go to educatedecommerce.com. When you start filling out your registration for the course, then just type in BEB Black Friday. It'll automatically take $800 off, $197 investment for the first 10 people. Offer expires midnight on the 29th. Now, you guys know that this platform, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, is about building an economic power base in the Black community. And I've created 2 platforms to do so. BeSmartByBlack.com. So any Black product producers that want to connect with Black consumers worldwide, it's free to upload your products. BeSmartByBlack.com. Now, if you are a freelancer, if you do stuff on Fiverr or freelancer.com, I've created a platform for you titled Hire Black Freelancers. HIRE blackfreelancers.com. It's free. Upload your information and you can connect with Black consumers and Black businesses that are looking for Black freelancers. The reason I started that site, guys, is because I was looking for a Black videographer in Philly for an event I was doing. I couldn't find anybody, and to me, it didn't make any sense. So I figured we need to be able to start connecting our businesses and our consumers to build and circulate the dollar in the Black community. That's what my new book is about, A New Black Wall Street. Also, if you want to request me to come out and speak to a school, church, university, organization, or for my book talk, you can go to bookjjones.com, fill out the short form, and I'll get right back to you. Also, everything that I'm just telling you right now and about to tell you with my contact information is at bebconnect.com. Go to BEB, like Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, connect.com. That takes you to a page on my website with all the resources and all of the social media contact information that I'm about to give you now. So if you want to connect with me by email, anything long, jjones at blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. That's JAYJONES at blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. Facebook, go to Facebook, type in Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. You'll find me. Twitter, jjones001, JAYJONES001. Instagram, jjones for real, JAYJONES, the number 4, REAL. YouTube, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Once again, guys, I have additional content that comes out on YouTube. Go to YouTube, type in Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, hit the subscribe button. Also, LinkedIn, just type in J Jones Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, and you can connect with me through LinkedIn. If you want to be on the BEB text line for notifications and special reminders, text BEB to 555-888, BEB to 555-888. Once again, all of this information and all my contact information and resources are on bebconnect.com, bebconnect.com. And we're about to close out in a few minutes, but I just want to share a couple of things with you real quick. All right. 2019 is close, coming to a close pretty soon. So 2020 is coming out, guys. So if you've ever thought about being an entrepreneur, it's never going to be the perfect time, but start planning your 2020 right now. You know, write down, I'm good. I write down all types of stuff. I got journals and all types of stuff. And, you know, I use that so it makes me remember, but it also makes me accountable. So if you're interested in starting a business, start doing the research, start doing the legwork. All right. And I tell people all the time, we all have 24 hours in the day. It's just the way that we use those 24 hours that makes the difference between being successful in business and being unsuccessful. And once again, it's about working smart and not hard. So sometimes, guys, when we come home from work, say you got a family, you got to cook dinner, you got to do this, you're a single parent. I know it's tough, it's hard, but we got to turn the TV off sometime. We got to turn social media off sometime. And we need to focus in and hone in on what's going to make us money. I was talking to one of my brother entrepreneurs the other day, and I always use the term feed the beast. So feed the beast, meaning whatever's feeding you, you got to make sure that thing is fed. So the example I always talked about, and was crazy because I had gotten a text about this. So a lot of times civilians, and when I say civilians, I'm talking about people that aren't entrepreneurs. So a lot of times, you know how people can't wait to get their tax return, right? Oh man, and this is my thought process. I'm like, I don't quite understand this, but I'm gonna have them take out as much taxes as they can off of my paycheck, so the IRS can give me a check back for $5, $10, whatever, $12,000, and that way I'm gonna pay down my bills. See, I don't think like that. First and foremost, my thing is I want to keep as much money as I can. So even working for somebody, you take the less taxes out, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to utilize that money. And then when people get their tax returns, you know, what do they spend the money on? A lot of people will pay down debt, which is cool. A lot of people will buy things, you know, treat themselves. That's cool. But my philosophy always has been, if you get in a chunk like that or a lump sum, feed the beast. Find something that's going to make you money. All right. And the example I gave was, and we were talking, my boy, the example I gave was, okay, you get $10,000, right? So you pay down $10,000 worth of your debt. Now, if you want to be debt free, if that can handle it and pay you or make you debt free, I get that. But if you got $50,000 in debt and you drop 10 on it, that's cool. You're reducing it. Now, this is just my philosophy. But what happens if I continue to make those payments on that $50,000 in debt, but I took the $10,000 and I built something, or I created a business that's going to bring me money in monthly? So maybe that $10,000 can bring me in $1,000 a month if I create the right business. Now that $1,000 a month can continuously knock down that $50,000. I'm going to pay that 50 anyway. The question is, what do you do with your resources? Do you expend all your resources to knock down a percentage of your debt? If it's all of your debt, I get that. But if you ain't making a real dent in it, can you use that money to build something? Can you create a beast that you can feed that's going to feed you? So that's why I always talk about feed the beast. So if you're looking to be an entrepreneur family, make sure you stay tuned to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. We got a whole lot of good stuff coming up in 2020. We're going to be doing more videos. We're going to be doing actually some short video sessions, teaching sessions right on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. And, once again, I say it each and every week, we get more and more downloads because of you, the BEB family. One of the things, I do this from the heart because I enjoy it, and my experiences aren't for me, guys. They're for everybody else. So yes, I learn from my own experiences, but whatever I can impart to you, the BEB family, to help you avoid some of those pitfalls and landmines, that's what my job is here. I'm here for. So once again, that's my assignment. I know internally, and I know in my heart, my assignment is to help my people. And the lane that I'm in is entrepreneurship. And so I just want to share that with you guys. Also, please continue to spread the word via social media, word of mouth, smoke signal, whatever you got to do to get the word out about Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. It's funny, we share stuff, silly stuff on social media. Right here, we're talking about building an economic power base in the Black community. So I'm asking you guys to please go out of your way to support Black businesses. Go out of your way and make an intentional or conscious effort to get Black Entrepreneur Blueprint out there. If you can just send it out via email, text, or whatever, if you enjoy what we do here, if you enjoy the concept of what we do. We talk about, my boy and I were talking about reciprocal business or reciprocating. So if you find value in something, hopefully your friends or your peers will find value. And this isn't just with Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. This is with everybody. If somebody gives you something or breathes something into you, then it's your duty to reciprocate that and breathe that back into that person and other people. So I say that to say this: whatever it is, whoever is filling you up or breathing some positivity into you, reciprocate that. So it's just like when I went to Tupelo, Mississippi to speak. I went down there on my own dime, didn't ask for a dime. And a brother came up and he was like, do y'all understand what y'all just got today? He said, this is about $5,000, $10,000 worth of game that you got today. And he said, I need you to support this brother by buying his book and doing all that type of stuff. And it's funny because I was cool either way, but he understood the power of reciprocity. So, and I'm not talking about, me, but whoever breathes some positivity or life into your life, make sure you reciprocate and support them. So once again, family, we ain't getting nowhere without supporting each other. Economic empowerment, building a power base. That's all Black Entrepreneur Blueprint is about. Economics rules the world. It runs politics, it runs media, it runs education, and obviously it runs everything else. If you're concerned about how we're depicted on television, guess what? Create your own platforms. How you going to do that? With money. If you're concerned about the economic situation in your community, then we need to create our own schools. How are we going to do that? Economics. If you're, if you are concerned about politics, you don't like the politicians in your local community, guess what? Pay to play, baby. That's what politics is. You support somebody that's going to uphold what you want. Economics rules the world. One of my other shirts I got is there's no revolution without economics, family. So recognize and understand that Black entrepreneurship is the only way to freedom. That's it. We gotta start our own. We gotta buy our own. We gotta support our own. Produce, distribute, and support. That's what it's all about. This is Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, episode number 280. 11 questions with Jay Jones. Hope you enjoyed it. Love you guys. See you same time next week. Peace.